playing your love games with me. I'm old Greg. Why does Gilman remind me so fucking much of old Greg if you see the color poster of him?
I love that so much because that's all I could think about during this movie.
Thank you. I'm so glad we were on the same page.
Yes.
Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks. We are two best friends that like to drink and dissect our favorite horror films, and we have a blast while doing it. My name is Emma, and as always, I am joined by the wonderfully... I was trying to search for like a water word. Wonderfully wet is all I could come up with.
I don't like that one.
But anyways, here's Allie.
I'm Allie, and I'm wet.
Allie,
Yeah.
how have you been, my girl?
I've been good and bad. I went on an epic road trip, and I got thrown off a horse, and I went to urgent care for separate reasons. But what can I say? Like, I like to live life on the edge.
You had an opportunity just then to make a really nice Austin Powers quote, which was
Dangerously.
I too like to live dangerously. Or
Yeah.
maybe that should have been me.
That
I
should
should
be
have said
you.
that. Fuck. Anyways.
You're the Austin Powers, resident Austin Powers girly over here.
I am.
But what have you been up to?
I also just got back from a marvelous trip with some of my best friends up in the Monterey area. It was beautiful. I always have so much fun going up there. It was a blast. And another thing that I'm getting really excited about, Als, is how we are going to Texas in less than 2 months to Texas Frightmare Weekend. If y'all haven't heard of Texas Frightmare Weekend, it is one of the biggest horror conventions in the country. And we are so, so excited to be there on behalf of the entire Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks podcast and all of y'all that follow us and love the podcast. We are excited to meet some new vendors, to network with some new spooky just people in the community and just get to experience a convention outside of California. It's going to be so sick.
And meet all you spooky fuckers.
Yeah, if there's anyone going who listens to the podcast, please find us that weekend. We will have friendship bracelets for sure.
Absolutely. I've been beating my little booty off.
Have you?
I have.
Wow.
So I've got lots of bracelets for everyone that's going.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Oh my goodness. Another thing that's kind of cool is that the producer and I finally finished Bates Motel, and it is so fucking good. So I know it's not the same whatsoever, but I have thoughts, and I can't wait until we review Psycho eventually because there are a lot of parallels.
So I'm kind of out of shows to watch. Should I start that?
I think so. I think you'd really like it because
Okay.
it's not like super scary or anything, but it's got a good we love Vera Farmiga.
Yeah.
Like she's so good.
And that creepy little kid.
Do we love him?
Well, like he's good at being creepy.
He's very good. Freddie
Yeah.
Highmore, I think is his name.
Sure.
But anyways, Allison, what film are we covering today?
Today we're covering The Creature from the Black Lagoon, which was out in 1954. And that is a great year because that's the year my mom was born. Shout out to Lisa.
And my dad.
Great year.
Great year.
If you haven't seen Creature from the Black Lagoon, this is your spoiler warning. So if you don't want us to ruin it for you, stop now, go check it out. But if you're ready to come on this lagoon ride with us, let's go, fuckers.
This film is about a strange prehistoric beast who lurks in the depths of the Amazonian jungle. And a group of scientists try to capture the animal and bring it back to civilization for study. I mean, I feel like that kind of gets right to the point.
I guess.
That's essentially what happens.
That sounds like Jurassic Park,
Oh, it kind of does.
which you love, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say. Hence why I probably love this film too. And this film had such an impact on not only just cinema as a whole, but also just like universal monsters. It was like another creature and kind of like main character within like their repertoire. This film is also in black and white, which is our first black and white film that we are reviewing on the podcast, which is really exciting. Even though the creature from the Black Lagoon may have arrived later in the Universal Monsters era, like Frankenstein, Dracula, and Wolfman before him, Gilman quickly became cemented as a horror icon for over 70 years now, which is so cool.
And he's actually thought of as the last classic Universal monster film. It's like the end of an era, you know?
Totally. The creature bridged this gap between classic movie monster horror and sci-fi, which influenced a generations of filmmakers even to this day. I mean, if you think about like Alien, if you think about Predator, you think about
Old Greg.
I mean, I'm telling you, the list goes on, people. It's so cool. And something else that's really cool is that the 2017 film The Shape of Water was partly inspired by Guillermo del Toro's childhood memories of Creature from the Black Lagoon. And he stated that he wished to see the Gill Man and the film's co-star succeed in their romance.
Oh my God. Don't we all, though? You know what I mean?
Don't we all? Just such a great film. And it had, I really tried to put myself into the mindset of someone watching this in the 50s, knowing that there weren't a lot of movies like it beforehand, and there were only just maybe those handful of Universal horror films.
And sometimes that's hard because we don't know that context because we are in the 2000s. So it's interesting for us to kind of think like what was the thought back then.
There's a podcast, Mouths of Madness, and they have a multi-generational take of the movies that they review on their podcast. And I wonder if they've done this one, because I would be interested to even have like my dad and your mom on here to see like, what was that like when you, I mean, it came out the year you were born. By the time you were old enough to remember watching it, how was that, you know?
So I will say I did watch this with my mom and my dad, and they also thought it was kind of a kitschy film.
Yeah. Okay. Even back then when they first saw it.
Well, they were like
babies.
Yeah. But when they saw it growing up, yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This film got a 6.9 out of 10 on IMDb, which I feel like is pretty high, especially knowing how much filmmaking has advanced over the years and just how much like people are fucking critics, man. And I could see people critiquing this film without keeping it in mind that this was made in the 50s and that there was only so much they could do filmmaking wise. So I'm very surprised, but happy that it got such a high score.
Yeah. And for Tomato Meter, it got an 80%. And at first, before I watched this film, I was like, the fuck? And now I get it. Because I actually really like this film.
You love it. Ali texted me, you guys, like while she was watching it and I was out of town. And she's like, oh my God, I fucking love this movie. And it made me really happy.
And the popcorn meter was 74%. So I feel like there's a happy medium in there.
All of those scores are kind of in line with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this film was directed by Jack Arnold.
And something about Jack Arnold that I looked up, he did 15 episodes of The Brady Bunch, which I love, and 26 episodes of Gilligan's Island. So he's kind of like a kitschy little cutie patootie.
Yeah, he really is. And I also love that he did a lot of Gilligan's Island. That's a fun show. One other cool thing about Jack Arnold before we move on is that he also directed the 1953 original House of Wax. And did you know that that was shot in 3 fucking D back then?
Wait, House of Wax?
House of Wax, 1953.
3D.
3D.
3 fucking D?
Let me throw something else at you. This film, Creature from the Black Lagoon, also shot in 3D.
What the fuck?
I didn't even know that 3D was around back then.
Did they have like the glasses and shit?
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, 3D, I guess itself is not like a too crazy of a concept, but like I had no idea that it started that soon. Isn't that crazy?
Good for them.
I know. I'm like, all right, cool. In our top billed cast, we have Richard Carlson, who plays Dr. David Reed, and Richard Denning, who plays Dr. Mark Williams.
To be honest, they look the exact same to me. And one looks like Neil Patrick Harris, and then the other one looks like
if John Cena had hair.
John Cena had hair, yes.
Wow.
So
that's fine, basically.
Stick with me, you guys. If I mixed up their names, I'm really sorry.
All good. Then we have Julie Adams, who plays Kay Lawrence. She's our only gal in the film, and the apple of our creatress eye.
She's like in a throuple, or like what is like
a love triangle?
No, she's like in a love box, like a love.
Oh, you're right, because there's 3 corners.
There's 3,
and then her, so a love square.
A love square, yes.
A love shack, if you will.
Oh, we love that. Let's get the B-52s up in here.
The B-52s. We also have Antonio Moreno, who plays Dr. Carl Maya. I love him in this film, and I'm sad he doesn't have more significant screen time. I don't know. I just liked him.
Okay.
And then I'll let you announce the next one.
This is Probably my favorite character is Nestor Pavia, who plays Captain Lucas. And he is probably like the best person I've ever seen in my entire life. Something cute is he was in an episode of The Addams Family in 68, also playing a captain.
Wow. Okay. A little typecasty.
Little typecasty, but
that's
like,
okay.
We love that he was in that.
And then we have our arguably our big kahunas, which maybe other people don't agree, but I loved these guys and wanted to make sure they had their time to shine. So we have Rico Browning and Ben Chapman, who play Gilman, who is the creature, and they both play him in respective areas. So Rico, he plays him in water, and then Ben plays him on land. This film was filmed in 2 states, which is kind of interesting. So the on-water scenes where like the boat was like on water, so to speak, were filmed at Park Lake on the Universal backlot, which I believe is still there, right? Like we looked it up and it's still there.
It's for sure still there, and you can tell the difference between like backlot scenes and actual
like in water and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Well, and that brings me to the underwater scenes, which were filmed in Wakulla Springs, Florida.
They also filmed in somewhere called, I don't know what scene this is, but they filmed in Silver Springs, Florida, Emma.
Time just a spell on you, but you won't forget me. Oh, sorry. We love Stevie Nicks. Something else that's kind of interesting is that Millicent Patrick was the original designer of the Gilman like suit. And she designed, this iconic costume, drawing inspiration from prehistoric reptiles and fish. But there was a little bit of drama with this situation because Millicent was sent on a promo tour called The Beauty Who Created the Beast until Universal's Bud Westmore, who was the head of the makeup department, due to jealousy, changed it to The Beauty Who Lives with the Beast to avoid citing Patrick as the creator of the Gilman. He wanted to take credit for it. And so Westmore then had her fired and continued to take full credit of Patrick's work for decades. And it was not until 2000 when a documentary on the film revealed her to be the original designer.
This bitch.
That just shows too, like on a deeper level, just women not being able to get credit for things.
Honestly, and the costume of our little cutie patootie, cheers. I'm clapping.
It's so good. I was
good.
admiring it so many times. It's hard because you don't want it to just look like a guy in a costume, but like by definition, this Gil man is a man who is half fish, PH. So it's just like, that must have been such a hard thing to even develop. And she did such an amazing job. So it's such a bummer that she really didn't get credit for like almost 50 years later. That's insane.
I hope she's like still alive to get that credit.
Yeah, I don't know if she's still with us. I don't think so, but
Word.
But she still lives on in our hearts, and we're talking about her today, so her legacy lives on.
Our hearts will go on with her into the water.
Oh, they will. Als, before we dive into the film review today, what are we drinking?
Okay, well, I've got my standard 3. I've got my WC Black Cherry White Claw. And I've got a Gatorade because your girl needs to hydrate. I've got a half marathon this weekend, you guys. Woof.
You're insane. You just fell off a horse, but okay.
I know. Wish me luck. And then I've got swamp water for my big dumb cup. What are you drinking?
I am having my first, this is such a lie. You guys know if you listen to the podcast, but I was going to say, this is my first Aperol Spritz of the season.
I almost just choked on my water.
I drink Aperol Spritzes anytime the sun is out, which in California is a lot. That's what I'm drinking today. I figured it makes me feel like I'm on a boat on the water in the Amazon.
You on a boat. You on the Rita.
Oh, I'm on the Rita.
Yeah,
oh, shit. Are. I should drink a margarita. Damn it. Next time. Missed opportunity. Opportunity.
Anyways, I'm happy to be here with you, and we should cheers.
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 I'm on Greg. I should have drank Bailey's.
Ew.
Our film starts with a intro to Earth and like its origins and evolution. And I will say that the very beginning, there's some pretty intense music, and we have that Universal Pictures title card come up, and then the title card to the film comes up, and I just like love the whole thing. It feels so vintage and nostalgic and like just so cool to see, especially like watching it in black and white here now in 2025.
I like the title card of like the film, but like when they start going into the title credits, it starts going into an overlay that really fucks with my brain and I can't really tell what's going on. I'm like, bitch, if I helped with this film, I want my moment and put this, let it last for like 5 seconds at least.
Yeah, there was a lot of overlap where you're like, wait, what does that word say for a second?
No, what's that name say? I'm like,
yeah.
Fuck.
Then there's a dramatic narration that sets the stage with a brief history of Earth's formation and the evolution of life. This kind of exposes like a new quote unquote planet Earth.
And they're talking about temperature and how it's impacted Earth. And boy, would they have a field day with climate change now.
My goodness.
Like, fuck, bro. Sorry.
Yikes. Yeah. We then see a rough sea, and eventually it changes to a sunny day with an empty beach. But there are some strange footprints in the sand that I think is trying to hint at like creatures that have evolved from the ocean and now are walking on land. And, I don't know.
Yeah, and the narrator also says this is where the record of life is written on land. And okay, Fossil King.
Are those going to be some fossils?
Yeah.
They must be, right?
Fossil King.
Then 15 million years later, we find ourselves in the Amazon, where some fossilized remains are found by Dr. Maya and some local assistants that he's working with. We don't really get a lot of background into what he's doing there, what kind of a doctor he is, but we can assume that he's some sort of like paleontologist, anthropologist guy. But they find a fossilized remain, which is a skeletal clawed hand reaching out of like an ancient like limestone rock. It has webbing between its fingers a little bit, I believe. And so this hints at Gillman's existence.
And the claw that they find is fucking huge. I don't understand like the difference between the sizes of the claws. And it's not my kind of claw. You guys know my kind of claw. Black cherry. But this claw coming out of the cliff is insane. Why are Dr. Maya's assistants like always shirtless?
I'm going to say humidity.
For sure. And why does one look like Lord Duloc?
He does. His haircut does. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah. That was a good observation.
Thank you.
Dr. Maya is really excited by the find, and he believes that it could be a major evolutionary link between land and sea creatures. He's like super excited about it.
It's giving Indiana Jones.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which we love, obviously.
He's like, let's dig that shit up, baby. But before he leaves 2 assistants at the camp and travels to a marine biology institute in Brazil for support, we see a hint of the creature, the live creature, in a body of water kind of near where they are. And he reaches his clawed hand creepily out onto the land before retreating back in the water.
So I watched this with my parents while I was drinking White Claw. And my dad said, "That's a pretty good claw." And then I said, "This is also a pretty good claw," and showed him my White Claw.
You're turning into your dad.
I am the creature from the Black Lagoon, Black Cherry Lagoon.
You are. And so at the institute, Dr. Maya, he finally gets there and he meets with, I am going to butcher how this is pronounced, but it's like an ichthyologist, I believe is how you say it. And his name is Dr. David Reed. And we are introed to him and his girlfriend / colleague, Kay Lawrence. And Dr. David Reed is in the ocean at the moment that Dr. Maya arrives. He's like diving. So you can tell this man likes to really get his hands dirty. He's like in the water doing research.
Yeah, he'd be playing with some depth weights. So he's kind of measuring where everything's at in the water. And it's terrifying to me because there's also multiple kelp beds that are way too tall for me.
Very scary.
And I've been in tall kelp beds and it's giving me some PTSD. But we'll move on from that. And when David comes up from the water, the first thing I noticed is his chest hair. I'm like, did we shave your chest just to be so noticeable? Like, it's like a Batman symbol.
Definitely. He has a lot of chest hair.
Which is fine.
Yeah, it's funny.
once they're back on the boat, David also says, oh, yeah, we're not married yet because we're always like together anyways. And my guy, that's kind of foreshadowing some like romance issues to come. So that's on you.
But then later on, they say that they've only been together 6 months. So I don't know.
But still, this is 1954.
6 months is like 6 years.
Exactly.
In 1954.
Yeah. You should have like a house with a washer and
a white picket fence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dishwasher and white picket fence.
Beautiful.
And maybe even like
4 kids.
Yeah. 17 kids. Yeah.
And a dog. A Labrador retriever. I liked the washing machine. You're right.
Yeah.
And like maybe a TV.
Yeah.
Like a big old television.
Definitely a TV.
Yeah. So David is intrigued by the fossil's potential to be a missing link between aquatic and terrestrial animals, just as Dr. Maya was. And David exclaims that he would love to be with Dr. Maya to help him unearth the rest of the skeleton. He's like, bro, I want to go with you. And David and Kay take Maya to a building where some other scientists are just like hanging out and doing scientist shit. I don't know what they're doing, including Dr. Mark Williams, who we are introduced to. And he is a wealthy and somewhat egotistical, for sure, scientist funding some of the research that's happening. And everyone's kind of talking about their thoughts on this fossil that Dr. Maya brought. And Williams is like, I'm in. You can tell he's really eager for the fame of such discovery and like what this could bring not only to his research, but it like really could make him a top dog.
But during this experience, you can tell that David and Mark have beef.
Yes, 100%.
They just both want to bone Kay.
It's also like not clear, like, did Kay date Mark previously?
She probably fucked both of them, and now it's just like, who do you pick?
Yeah, true.
But Emma, you know my question.
I knew you were going to ask. Are you going to ask me which one I like?
Yeah. I still can't tell them apart, so I'm just going to say both.
Okay, so the one I find more attractive is unfortunately Mark, because he's a fucking asshole throughout this film. But I do find David to be more like manly and a little bit more, he's got a sweet side and you can tell that he's like genuine. But I think I'm more like physically attracted to Mark, the blondie.
Okay, fair enough.
What about you?
I think both.
Just both. Okay.
Yeah.
You like them for different ways. I love that. So the team decides to mount an expedition to the site. And there's like a group of them all going together, which is crazy.
And that's crazy because like that's so nice for them that they were just like, we want to do this. And then they got immediate approval. Approvals aren't like that these days. Like it takes several rounds of
like, where's the red tape here for a scientific institute of marine biology?
But they're just like, yeah, fuck around and find out. Go on this expedition. And they do fuck around and find out.
Oh my God.
Mark also kind of mentions, hey, can we monetize this expedition with our findings? And what I have to say to him is, bro, just open a TikTok shop and it might be safer, easier, quicker.
You can make fossil replicas and just sell those.
Just open a TikTok shop. I don't know.
I love the ending of this part as they're going into the Amazon and venturing out on this voyage together, because we see the gill man's hand yet again. And it almost looks like the exact same scene that we saw earlier of him reaching his hand and claw out of the water and like hitting the sand. And I love that this is the thing to show between these transition scenes. It's like so funny to me.
Do you think this the same scene? Like
I literally think it's the same one. 100%.
But like, bro, just come out of the water. I don't know. What are you trying to do?
He's trying to be sneaky. He's like a woman just showing us her leg, you know?
Her ankle?
Yeah, like through a doorway or something. Oh, spooky.
Love that.
Back in the Amazon, before the team of Voyagers arrive, the two assistants are attacked by the creature in their tents. And we only see the creature's hand yet again and not his whole body. We only see this like webbed claw hand and hear some terrifying sounds that arguably sound like a mixture of a pig with like some kind of monkey, or I don't know. There's a lot going on.
I didn't capture that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you did.
There's a lot. And it keeps the monster really mysterious, and it heightens the fear for sure because we still haven't seen him in his entirety. On the other side, aboard the Rita, this is the boat that the Voyagers are on and that they're taking back to the Amazon. And this is a riverboat, and it's captained by the no-nonsense Captain Lucas.
He is such a vibe. He's such a vibe.
You love him.
He's just got his shirt has like 0 buttons on it, and he's got a cigar or a cigarette at all times and a hat. And he feels like he should be captaining a cruise on the Amazon.
He gives me Quint vibes from Jaws.
Yes.
So I wonder if the character of Quint was based maybe on Captain Lucas from Creature from the Black Lagoon.
That's a great call.
I would love to know.
Yeah.
Someone let me know. And Kay, I mean, we kind of mentioned it earlier, but Kay is the only woman on the expedition. And so
Why is there always only one woman?
literally,
It's like Pirates of the Caribbean.
so true. I mean, maybe just the time, I guess. Like, I feel like women just didn't travel. They didn't do this kind of stuff. I feel like truly you only did cool shit if you were in a position like Kay, where you were a scientist or dating a scientist,
Okay.
which is unfortunate.
Or if you're captured.
Or if
like-
you're captured against your will
Yes.
on these adventures.
What was her name? Bella Swan? No, that's Twilight. Something Swan, right?
Elizabeth Swan.
Elizabeth Swan. Okay.
Elizabeth Swan.
She was taken against her will. Kay is like, I'm going to go and fuck shit up on the Amazon River.
There's just, again, like we kind of mentioned already, but this is also hinting even more at this interesting like power struggle between David and Mark. David seems to be the more supportive and thoughtful one, and he's the one like dating Kay in this moment. But then we have Mark, who it's like he's got some animosity towards David because he has some sort of feelings for Kay, and he's super pushy and really possessive.
I'll say this once again. I think they all need to just like fuck it out together.
Did you say that already?
Oh, well, maybe in a different podcast, but I think they just need to fuck it out.
Maybe in a different font.
Yeah, in a different font. Kay is smart as fuck, as all women are.
Hell yeah.
Might I say.
Hell yeah, brother.
And she says, it looks like this is an amphibious creature, but its hands were made for land use.
Yeah, she's literally the first person that calls out that it has webbed fingers.
Yeah. Can I ask you something? When did the transatlantic voice leave our culture?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole because I could talk about this for a very, very long time. I have a lot of thoughts about how dumb we sound as a society now today with how we speak the English language.
I agree.
I think, I mean, even going back to like Shakespearean times, like it was just so much more romantic and thought out. People weren't just saying things that didn't make sense, and it sounded so much nicer. It was so eloquent in the way that people spoke. And I feel like we've lost so much of that these days. So I feel like just like a sea creature that has evolved through time, we have just evolved and do not speak in a beautiful little transatlantic voice anymore, which is unfortunate.
I agree with you.
Sorry, I did go on kind of a mini tangent about
I liked
that.
it.
We could talk about it more at another time, maybe over a margarita on the Rita.
Ooh, love that.
So as the crew's on the Rita, they are admiring the Amazon River as they're venturing to their destination. And they're all mentioning the incredible animals that inhabit the land and the water. But they also talk about how everything in the jungle is all killers. I believe Captain Lucas says that. And they talk a little bit about how certain animals that might be native to other places are like 4 times the size in the Amazon. You should see an Amazonian catfish. You should see an anaconda. You should see the spiders. You should see all these things that may be native in many other countries and places, but in the Amazon, they're just like insane and huge. Once the rest of the team arrives to their destination and the camp that Dr. Maya was at with his assistants, unfortunately, they find the camp destroyed and they find the assistants dead. And they're all freaking out. They have no idea like what happened, and they're all trying to come up with their, different theories and so on and so forth.
My boy, Lucas, Captain Lucas, is like, these look like jaguar claws. Also, do jaguars live in the Amazon?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Oh, okay.
Basically any fucking animal you can think of.
So they're basically saying jaguars might have done this. Meanwhile, they didn't let Kay come and see the scene of the tent, and she was like man-shamed out of coming inside the destroyed tent.
Rude.
So rude. And we then get another cutie patootie shot of our cutie patootie. His claws are coming out and trying to grab her ankle. And I love that. I guess it's a score, but it's da da da. It kind of sounds like Jaws a little bit. Da da da. Right?
Oh, sorry.
Every time his claw comes out of the water, it's da da. And why is she so close to the water, by the way? Whatever. But they're trying to he's trying to touch her. They're so close, yet so far. 2 worlds, 1 family.
Oh my God. Tarzan? What a great film. Jeez.
Right?
God, so good. So after the men try to dig the rest of the limestone where that initial fossil was found, they're trying to find a full skeleton. They want to find something that brings together the rest of the pieces, but apparently they dig for 8 days and they come up completely short and don't find anything.
And is it just me, or does Mark touch Kay way too much?
That's what makes me feel like that they have something that we just don't know about.
See, this is a sidebar that I would like to see a film about.
Yeah. We need the backstory. We need the creature's backstory. We need a Kay and Mark backstory. I mean, there's a lot that could go on here. This could be a full franchise.
Yep.
David asks Captain Lucas if he knows what the tributary empties into, because he notices that there is like some water nearby, but it's not exactly 100% certain like if there's another spot where there might be water outside of the Amazon River. And Dr. Maya says that his men have said that it leads to a lagoon, but he doesn't really know much more than that. And they all talk about how maybe the rest of the fragments from the fossil could be in this like lagoon or could have traveled through water somehow, and that maybe it wouldn't hurt to explore it. David is a little concerned about bringing a quote unquote woman to uncharted territory.
Okay.
But Kay isn't afraid, which I love. She's like, dude, come on. That would be so sick if I went along.
David doesn't need a Me Tooing moment. So
No.
David just let her like come.
David, let her live her life. Okay.
Yeah.
And Captain Lucas then chimes in and tells them, my boys, which I love, all call it the Black Lagoon, a paradise. But he jokes that no one has ever come back to prove it, which is kind of sinister.
Kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Little piratesy. Little piratesy. So they get back on the Rita and they are able to find the Black Lagoon pretty easily. As they find it, David and Kay share a sweet romantic moment interrupted by Mark and Captain Lucas, and they're looking at Mark's spear gun or harpoon that he's brought along on the trip.
When I was watching it, I was like, that's a dart gun, right?
That's a dart gun. I think I said spear gun to the producer, which technically I guess is right, but I think the technical term is actually a harpoon.
No, I'm for sure wrong. So yeah. I think you're right. But after all of whatever, like 20 minutes this movie is, I'm gathering that this movie is a mix of Indiana Jones, Tarzan, and The Jungle Cruise. And is this a Disney production?
Could have inspired The Jungle Cruise, maybe a little bit. Well, actually, I guess I don't know when The Jungle Cruise actually came out. They all kind of bleed into each other a little bit.
No, dude, this movie came out in 1954. The ride came out much later. So
interesting. Then as they are coming into the Black Lagoon, it is finally like revealed to us as the viewers. And it's this kind of mist shrouded a little bit, still body of water surrounded by some dense jungle, but it's really like gorgeously eerie.
Again, Pirates of the Caribbean.
I always think about how I would love to go to, I think it was Tortuga, the island of Tortuga in Pirates of the Caribbean. I always thought it was so pretty. Anyways, side tangent.
No, but I wanted to go to the place where they went to like the witchy woman.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Through,
absolutely.
Like, the Amazon rivers or whatever, and the bayous and like.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
That's like very much our vibe.
It's
honestly
so
bring us on the Rita.
Honestly.
So the team anchors and they discuss taking a dive to collect some rock samples to help them figure out if the fossil fragments are in the lagoon, because I guess they can test within the rocks like how old they are, which can kind of help them to determine if some of those fragments are there in the lagoon. And Kay is super hesitant. She's like, dude, David, please be careful because we don't know what's in the lagoon. Hello, foreshadowing. And Mark makes this weird comment to her that he hopes that she's worried about him too. Like, hello, jealous much?
Don't you know that you're fucking toxic?
Don't you know that you're toxic? After this little jealous moment, David and Mark set their little differences aside, I guess, and they proceed to dive with their aqua-lungs, which I didn't realize this is like what they were called back then, but it's basically diving equipment, and they are trying to collect some sediment while they explore. All the underwater shots, like this looks like a fucking bitchin' place to dive.
I completely disagree with you.
Really?
I do.
Okay.
Are we not worried about like anacondas?
But I think as biologists, they probably are just like, eh. They almost like probably want to see one because to them, that's something that they are admiring, exploring, studying, collecting data on, you know, all of that stuff. Would you and I like to see an anaconda? Fuck no.
I mean,
would the producer like to see an anaconda? That's his worst fear. So again, fuck no.
Jennifer Lopez wants to see an anaconda.
And so does Ice Cube.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Sorry, tangents.
So moving on. While they're underwater, we see the gill man and he's watching them from the shadows of like some like seaweed and like kelp that's kind of like hiding his identity, so to speak.
Yeah, and this is basically our first like full ass shot of our cutie patootie, the Gilman. Why is his name Gilman? I just like it's really flustering me.
And his little gills are flapping and fluttering. I forgot to mention that when we were talking about Millicent Patrick and her costume design. Like, I wonder if she helped like engineer some of that too. Like, that's such a great detail.
It's so good. But we see our first shot of him, and he's just like, "Bitch, get out of my swamp." Just looking at the snorkelers, like, why you be here?
He is Shrek's great grandpapa.
Oh,
I think.
Oh, is that where you got that from? Get out of my swamp.
Yes, that is where you got that from. And so the guys come back up to the surface and they have a few samples with them. They collected some rocks and stuff. And David picked an underwater plant that he gifted to Kay, but neither of them saw the Gilman.
But also, our cutie patootie Gilman saw David grab that plant and it was like, oh, hell no, not from my swamp, bitch.
Yeah, he was pretty pissed about it for sure.
And something that bothered me, I will say, is when the boys were coming back up on the boat, Kate was ready to help them come up and get them all dried off and stuff. But Williams was like, back up, Kay.
Oh, Mark?
Yeah.
Oh, ew.
Yeah, it was like a ew, like a cringe moment.
Oh my God.
Mark was just like, back up.
God, rude.
I know. She's the strongest one here. And she's desired by a creature of the Black Lagoon. So.
Boom. How many people can say that?
Exactly. That's a trophy.
Mark also makes another fucking weird comment to David because David and Kay are having a moment together when not like anything crazy, but they just kind of are saying hi after he was just underwater in this unknown body of water. And Mark says that they can play house later and then explains that, you know, he wants to test the rocks right away. So they need to get to work. David shares a bit of his Mark frustrations with Kay a little privately as Mark rushes off to go test the rocks, but she's assuring him, like, don't worry about it. It's all good.
I am going to say this seems like a season of The White Lotus.
This does give me a little bit of White Lotus vibes because I forgot to mention that now that Bates Motel is over, the producer and I are diving headfirst into White Lotus. We're halfway through season 2. Nobody give me spoilers on season 3. I already, unfortunately, know a few things that happens because the world cannot just shut the fuck up about shows. But that's okay.
And neither can Allie.
And neither can Allie. Kay asks David in this moment what it was like to be under the water. And he says that it was like another world. And she says that she would love to see it. Then in one of the film's most famous sequences, Kay is by herself while the guys are testing the rocks, and she, you know, takes off her clothes and has her little swimsuit on, and she jumps into the water swimming really gracefully near the surface. And
I'm like, oh, is you dumb?
I mean, they don't know yet, right? That anything's in there. They just think they're looking for fossils.
This is also the Amazon.
I feel like I might do it too.
Oh my God.
Sometimes you just ignore things that are like warning warning signs going off in your head. And also, too, I think they say later in the film, but she is a scientist as well. So maybe she's just not as afraid of things as like we are, you know?
Sure.
But this scene is really cute because I'm going to say cute with our cutie patootie. You're welcome. Kay is swimming near the surface and she's, doing her little strokes and just being so cute. And the creature is below her swimming and he's almost like kind of mirroring her swimming patterns.
And he'd be like, fuck yeah, and swims after her.
But he's not like touching her. He's
No.
keeping a few feet between them. It's really like, it's kind of lyrical.
It's romantic.
Yeah.
And he's swimming from underneath her. I'm not sure how she doesn't see him.
I know. It is a little, if you are going to swim in the Amazon Lagoon, keep your eyes open.
Amazon Lagoon. Sure.
Amazon Prime. Oh
yeah.
Just kidding. And then he has this moment where they're in the water and she's fluttering her little legs around and he's kind of like almost touching her legs and like almost grabbing her. And then he does actually kind of grab her leg a little bit at one point and it prompts her to go down and kind of investigate, but she finds nothing.
She finds nothing and they're just playing mermaids.
Yeah, they are playing mermaids. But she doesn't know that they're playing mermaids. He knows that they're playing mermaids, but she doesn't know.
Exactly.
Then Captain Lucas, he comes back to the deck of the boat and he notices Kay in the water, calls her back, and she comes back up without interacting anymore with the Gilman and without, even realizing what it was that touched her in the water. But she doesn't seem too concerned.
And as she was getting back up into the boat, like getting out of the water, our cutie patootie Gilman was like low-key waving at her and looking at her as she was doing that. And I'm like, why are all the men on the boat saying, hey, girl, you're too far out. You need to get back on the boat. She's a woman. She can do anything.
Yes, but then we also just said, what the fuck? Why is she in the water? Like, that's really scary.
True. Both points are valid.
Yeah. Two things can be true at once.
Yes.
One of the other things that Captain Lucas has with this boat with the Rita is that they've had a net in the water. And they didn't say exactly what they were trying to catch other than maybe like some fish. But as they try to bring the net up, it gets caught on something pretty strong under the water and almost pulls the boat on its side. But when it finally comes up, it has a huge hole in it. And they find one of Gilman's claws.
And Kay is like, maybe it doesn't want to hurt us.
As it claws a giant hole through the net and leaves one of its claws behind.
And it's sort of Stockholm syndrome-y, but that's okay. That's cool. Godzilla much?
Ooh. Then Dr. Maya, he comes out and tells the group that he tested the rocks and that they aligned with the sediment that they found at the fossil site. So they are pretty convinced that this is where they're going to find some of those fossil remains. Next, we see Mark and David, and they're prepping for another dive because they want to this time photograph the species, see, what else that they can find in the water as they look for other pieces of this like fossil sediment, what have you.
As much as I'm annoyed at these two individuals, they have balls because they just keep getting back in the water. Just like you get back on the horse when you fall off of it.
Just like you did.
Just like I did.
Yep.
You get back in that water.
And you know what? They're doing it for science.
Exactly.
Yep. Mark brings his harpoon, that one that we saw earlier when he was on the boat, on the deck with Captain Lucas. And he says, I'm going to, bring it in case things go sideways. Then he reveals that he might even want to kill the creature or injure the creature and bring it home with him.
I think they just both need to harpoon each other, if you know what I mean.
Like in a duel?
No, just like, if you know what I mean.
Oh! You think that's what needs to happen?
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Right. David compares Mark to a big game trophy hunter, which makes me a little bit sad. It makes me feel like Ace Ventura when they're in Africa.
You bring that up a lot.
Well, I mean, I do. They're founding films of my youth. So then once they get under the water, they're swimming around a bit. David has the camera. Mark has the harpoon, and they finally see the creature.
I'm so unknowledgeable about like 1950s technology. That camera looks so heavy, and they don't have like floaties on. How are they carrying this heavy ass camera and with tanks on their backs and just in their skivvies?
It is probably pretty heavy, but they also they seemed pretty fit. Maybe it's not that big of a deal. Who knows?
Okay.
But yeah, great question, because I thought the same thing. I'm like, that camera is big as shit. Like, it's got to be heavy.
Also, how does it work underwater? Great
Questions. We need to do some more research on underwater camera housing after this.
I'm good.
I'm going to ask the producer.
Yeah. I'm good.
And when they see the creature, they try to snap a photo of him, and the creature tries to get away, and Mark manages to shoot him with the harpoon. But the gill man does swim away. And at first when I saw this, I was like, oh shit, he actually struck him. Is this movie over? Is he dead? And I also thought, how rude.
How fucking rude. Do not fuck with our cutie.
Do not fuck with him.
And I feel bad for him. And he's just confused because people are in his swamp. Okay, sorry. In his lagoon.
His lagoon.
He is Shrek to me at this point, I guess.
Yeah. All he's thinking and saying is to them is I know what you're thinking. Here comes old Greg. He's a scaly fish man. You're obviously scared.
100%.
You guys, if you don't know what I'm referencing, please go and YouTube old Greg and you will understand. And then look at the color poster of this film and then hit me back.
And then you'll understand.
You'll understand.
And our little baby cutie is like, shit, I've been shot, and swims back into the depths of the lagoon. And you know what, little cutie patootie?
Do what you got to do.
No, I will come take care of you. Even though I'm scared of swimming.
Are you going to bring him Bailey's?
I will bring him Bailey's.
Sorry. This is not an old Greg episode. I need to stop it. When the guys come up, they are immediately arguing about Mark shooting the harpoon without the creature even attacking. Because I think David, he's trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Oh yeah, I knew you brought the harpoon just in case things go south, but you just shot him with no regard.
And that's valid to get mad because he didn't do fucking shit to you guys. He's just there.
He literally was running away essentially once you guys took a photo of him.
And now he has means to he has a motive to fuck your shit up.
Not cool. Not cool. So they tell the crew, the rest of everyone that's there that didn't go diving, that it appeared to be human. And that they were very curious about just its overall anatomy and how it was living underwater and whatnot. And so they rushed to go and develop a photo that David managed to capture. And they do the old school photo developing method where you have the dark room and you're doing that whole thing. And the photo reveals nothing. It's basically, it reveals a kelp bed, but with nothing in it. So they don't get a picture of him.
Is he a vampire too?
He might be. That's what I thought actually immediately as I was because David even says, he's like, dude, I swear I set this thing off and took it of him.
I think the bigger question is, how is Kay now perfectly made up with her hair and makeup on and dried and everything, even though she was just in the fucking water?
I thought that this entire film. I'm like, she looks so beautiful and so perfect. Obviously, it's a movie, and of course, she's going to have perfect hair. But a lot of women in the 50s wore their hair like this all the time. And can you teach a sister? I need to know.
A blowout in 15 minutes?
It was so beautiful, literally.
Well, shit, man.
Maybe the Amazon.
Also, do they have boats that have enlargers and printing red rooms, what do they call it, dark rooms?
I mean, you can make anything a dark room if you really try.
I mean, that's true, but you need if you're developing photos, that's a very specific thing on a boat.
Maybe they bring just enough to be able to develop quickly.
Or maybe Lucas just has, his
boat specializes in film development.
Or he's Leprechaun where he has anything you need.
He has all kinds of tools and resources. I like that connection.
Yeah, me too.
As the crew talks about not having a photo and that really it just proves nothing, we see the gill man walking on the deck. And he attacks Chico, who is one of the boat crew. And again, most of the crew is in the cabin trying to figure out this whole film situation. So it seems like Chico and maybe one other guy, I think, were out on the boat and that was it. And then once the crew comes out, they find evidence of the gill man's footprints. And they're like, okay, yeah, he definitely was the one that attacked Chico.
I'm just proud of him for being fuck you guys. I'm getting on this boat, and
he's not scared of 12 men.
He might be scared, but he's I'm going to defend myself, boo.
Yeah, he's this is my swamp.
This is my swamp, and I'm also trying to get my boo.
There you go. Yeah. Boom. Boom, boo.
Boom.
Then David tries to put together a cage to capture the creature. And I don't think David has like terrible motives. He's not trying to capture and kill the creature or even capture or take it home. I think it's more just for studying purposes. And Captain Lucas tells David about a local drug that's made with some native plants that a lot of the fishermen use. And it's designed to help them catch fish in still waters. And it like kind of brings like the fish to the top. They become paralyzed.
Basically, they're trying to fucking roofie our boy.
Literally. I completely forgot about like the whole drug part of this film.
It's kind of a lot of it.
It's kind of intense.
It comes up like twice.
Yeah, but like why does he have so much? Anyways.
Wait, that's a really good question.
Yeah, scary. So Mark and David take a little dinghy boat. It's like a mini Rita. It's cute. They start spreading the drug in the water, and they don't really have any luck except for some of the smaller fish are coming up to the surface, which proves that the drug is working, but it definitely, to what they can see, it's not working on Gilman.
Not yet, at least. And again, White Lotus, it's like, Mark and David, no. Boat trips, lagoons, no. You'll get it when you watch it.
Okay, got it. I was like, what are you saying?
Yeah. This bitch, Kay, who's on the boat, drops her cig into the water. How rude, first of all. But Cutie is like, boo, I see you from under this water and I'ma come get you.
He's like, I've been watching you. I like you.
I'm here for it.
Intentions as just continue to rise between David, who wants to study Gilman, and Mark, who wants to kill or capture it. There's a lot going on here, a lot happening, a lot of different like ulterior motives, and Mark and David are definitely not on the same page. Then that night, the creature tries to climb aboard the boat, and Kay spots him and screams, but he gets frightened by the lantern that's on the boat, and he jumps off the boat and swims off.
But I love his like ambition, trying to say, I am Gilman and I am the captain now, fuckers.
He's like, I am going to take this ship.
Yeah, I'm the captain now.
I'm going to be the captain of the Black Pearl, and you guys are all going to fucking be my deckhands.
And we have
I might kill you.
Yeah. And there might be gold involved. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. So Gilman swims across the lagoon, and he gets mostly out of the water in a shallow spot as the crew shines a bright light on him. And this is really the first time that we are seeing his whole body outside of water before he collapses into the water again. Clearly, like, the drugs probably got to him at this point.
Bro kind of be roofied up, and they're like, okay, he's roofied up. And these dumbasses are saying to themselves, let's go into the water to find him. How the fuck are you going to see down there at night? It's 1954. And you just drugged my cutie.
And it's 1954.
Technology?
Do you think they don't have flashlights?
Do you see them using flashlights during their expedition?
That's a good question.
Yeah, so fuck you guys.
David is worried about the creature that he may have drowned since that he was drugged. And then him and Mark go and swim to where they saw him collapse, and they try to find him. Mark and David swim around with no luck finding him, but then they end up finding a cave where they track the creature's footprints. And then we see him wandering off to like a back exit of the cave, which leads back to like a part of the jungle. And I love his little like drugged up walk in this like scene. It's so freaking funny.
It's literally amazing. And he just is like, kind of drugged up walking into his lair, and now we have a new layer to add to our list.
Atlee loves a layer,
and it's like in an actual Black Lagoon.
Yeah, truly.
Blacked out lagoon.
Also, this cave is, I'm sorry we keep mentioning it, but it does give like Pirates of the Caribbean.
For sure.
You know?
100%.
So cool. So awesome.
And it's like when he's stumbling into his lair, it's like me after recording one of these podcasts. So wish me luck tonight.
So because Gilman was able to kind of go out aside of the cave and back onto land, he's able to sort of sneak up behind Kay and one of the other crew members as they're on shore. The crew member gets killed by Gilman as he tries to intercept him trying to get Kay. And then Kay gets picked up by him momentarily before he collapses again, and Kay is able to escape.
I feel like this is truly a Godzilla moment.
Absolutely. It's the classic, like, picking her up, like I'm bringing my bride through the doorway of our new home together. And, it's just, he's like, got her. But then I'm like, what the fuck were you planning to do with her, bro, from that point?
I feel like there's a lot of movies that are like that.
There are a lot of movies like that, 100%.
Yeah.
And at first, Mark tries to beat the creature, but then David stops him and they're able to put him in a net and then get him to that cage that they made.
And again, Kay is like, he could have killed me. He could have killed everybody. And he didn't kill me. So am I shipping these two?
I think you're shipping them a little bit, but we're also forgetting that he did kill the men. But you know what? Maybe that's not the worst.
Maybe the men were the
problem the whole time.
The problem, exactly.
I mean, they're the ones getting in the way of him and Kay's romance.
Well, and so just like in, well, you haven't seen it. Never mind. Irrelevance.
Were you bringing up White Lotus?
Yes. Maybe their zodiacs were just calling to each other, just saying we're meant to be together.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And gives me kind of daggers. The shots of my cutie patootie Gilman looking up through that cage, the bamboo cage, and he's just like wants to. At least they gave him water, I guess, just to have that water and air for whatever he wants. But let this fucker be free. What'd he do to you except for kill some people? And I feel like Kay low-key wants our cutie.
I don't know if she wants him necessarily, but I think she's like maybe intrigued by him wanting her.
Or maybe
she's interested.
She's interested. See,
yeah.
This is called, quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes, the game.
They're playing the game.
They're playing the game. Like, will they, won't they?
We don't know.
Well, we kind of do.
Mark and David then argue about leaving with the creature. So obviously David wants to stay and finish their studying of the grotto. He wants to take more photographs. He wants to collect data before they leave. But Mark is like, I'm ready to get the fuck out. We've got the creature. Let's take him with us. Like, what have you? And it's just like they're in such different positions on where they stand with this whole thing.
Where would you stand? Because I'm in between. I would fully support studying a grotto because it's just giving so much Pirates of the Caribbean vibes. But I also would be like, let's bounce the fuck out. So I'm not sure what I would do.
I would definitely want to stay because I think the motive of why Mark wants to leave is not just like, oh, I want to leave. It's I want to take the creature with us and bad things will happen inevitably. So I think I would want to stay as well.
Can't we just like say, hey world, we saw this fucking thing and call it a day?
Maybe. I mean, they could take pictures of it now that they have it, I guess, right?
I don't know.
But nobody's thought of that.
Yeah.
Because it's a movie.
Right. It's a movie. It's a movie.
And we have a plot line to follow.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Sorry.
As the rest of the crew goes back into the grotto, they want to take more photographs and do their whole data thing. Kay retreats to her bed in the cabin of the boat, and Dr. Thompson, who was part of the crew, he is supposed to watch the creature and make sure that he doesn't escape. Kay then comes out because she can't sleep and she is just chatting with Dr. Thompson and they're talking. And as this is happening, the creature is able to escape. It's very, very scary because he like locks eyes on Kay and he's like, get me the fuck out of here. I got to figure this out.
Yeah. His roofies wore off and he's like still imprinting with Kay.
Another Twilight reference.
Yes. Hey, at least it's not Polar Express, bitch. Kay throws a lantern into his head, and I'm like, girl, you know you want to fuck him. Don't throw a lantern into his head. But then he jumps into the water, and I'm like, ho, you're going to be with this man.
His headlight's on fire from the lantern.
Yeah.
This is the second time now that something has happened to him. First he got shot with the harpoon. Now his head is on fire. I'm like, does this man just not die? Not that either of those were trying to actually kill him, but he's been through some shit with this crew. He's probably pissed.
Well, also Loki, genetic. Like, should we be a Gilman? Because
maybe he's like just
undefeatable,
immune to all of this stuff.
Yeah,
dude, maybe. Shoot. But yeah, like Ali said, I mean, he jumps into the water and he's able to get himself all defired. However, whatever. But he does attack Dr. Thompson before the lantern and all of that stuff. And he attacks him pretty badly. And the next day, the crew talks about Dr. Thompson's condition and how there have been 4 men dead now, which is very concerning to David. Even though he's voting not to kill the creature and to keep studying him, he's still recognizing that like maybe they're a little bit too big for their britches right now. But still, Mark argues with him about capturing the creature and bringing it home with them. And David tries to explain that they can come back with a more prepared expedition so that no one else can get hurt. So Captain Lucas agrees with David and is like, yeah, dude, I mean, like, that sounds fine to me. Like, I can take you guys back. Mark threatens that Lucas should be listening to him because he, quote unquote, makes the decisions around here. But then Captain Lucas, he says, quote unquote, on the water, the captain makes the decisions.
Fuck yeah, Captain Lucas. You do make the decisions, and I'm proud of you for sticking up for yourself and saying, what's up? Let's go, Capitano.
And doesn't he like pull out a little knife too?
Oh, he pulls out a knife and fully like
he puts it up to Mark's chin.
His chin. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. This is giving Captain Shaw energy too from Jaws.
What a
love
king.
it. They're like distant cousins.
Yeah.
Love it.
I love that.
As the whole crew tries to leave, they find that the creature has blocked the only passage out of the lagoon by jamming some logs and debris into the river outlet.
So our creature created a beaver dam, and something I noticed, I'm not sure if you did, Emma, but there's a lot of crotch shots in these hot pants.
Oh my God, I totally noticed this.
And it's like right near, a lot of them are right near Captain Lucas's face. I'm like, what?
Just crotch to face. They've got to have a good
Crotch
ratio,
to face,
I guess.
Yeah. They should put that in algebra class.
They should. Yeah, absolutely. It's a formula.
Yeah.
It's a formula.
It is a formula.
But now the group is stranded and they're essentially imprisoned by like the creature in his like domain. And paranoia and being scared, like all of this is growing within the group. And Mark's obsession with capturing the creature grows a little bit more reckless, and Kay is getting increasingly more frightened. Everyone's sort of like, shit, what do? We need to figure out a way to move these logs because we can't like pass through them. So the crew tries to do this thing where they almost try to like tow something. So they have like a line that you can wrap something around and then like essentially winch it out. And so very, very brave guys, David and Mark, they decide to use their aqua-lungs to go down and help like move the logs and basically like put the winch around the logs. But it is unsuccessful and the creature unlocks the clasp on the logs. So it's kind of crazy.
The creature basically says, I'm gonna get my boo.
He's like, you ain't leaving.
You ain't leaving my boo.
Aqua-lungs again, they go down, trying to help move the logs like once again, but Mark still has this like ulterior motive to try to capture the creature instead of just helping them get out of the lagoon. Mark and David in this part get into a little bit of a tussle.
And I'm like, finally.
Yeah.
Finally, you duke it out. There's some sexual tension there.
I love how much you're pushing the sexual tension agenda between all of the characters.
Again, fresh off of White Lotus.
Oh my goodness. So after this tussle happens between Mark and David, David goes down alone, but he does bring the harpoon for safety just in case. And as David is under the water, Mark comes up behind him, shooting off one of the harpoons at the creature, but it narrowly misses David in the process. And he shoots the creature, Mr. Gilman, cutie, right into the stomach. And then he removes the spear, thank God. And in this moment underwater, the creature then grabs Mark and brings him down into the depths of the lagoon. And David tries to save him, but it's seemingly too late. Mark's body slowly floats up to the surface.
And we all float down here. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. But I think he low-key deserves it.
I mean,
he's kind of been a douche.
He's been a douche.
So, I don't know.
And the creature, like, he didn't claw you to death. He didn't bite you. He didn't, like, rip your head off. He just drowned you.
And he did kill some of your friends. But
like, you're in his lagoon. You know what I mean?
You're in his swamp.
Yeah. Then the remaining crew is pretty desperate to escape at this point. I mean, everyone's talking about maybe using the drug again to make the creature groggy so that they can try and escape. And they talk about using, I think their drug is called rotenone. And they talk about using it potentially in a spray bottle so that it's super concentrated and that they're able to like spray it at the creature.
Homie isn't a cat. So I'm not really sure. They want to roofie him again.
Also, like they want to spray it underwater, and I'm just like not sure how that works exactly.
Nor
but
I.
I'm not going to question it. I'm not going to question it.
We're not marine people.
And I'm not a spray bottle expert either. But they decide to move forward with this idea. And so they prepare the drug. And Gilman reaches his hand through one of the cabin windows while they're in the cabin doing this like preparation. And they're able to scare him off before David gets into the water with the drug to try again. But then David gets in and they're trying to keep this creature at bay while he tries his best again to try to move the logs or see if like the winch can help. The creature comes back again towards David underwater, and David's able to spray him with that drug 3 times before it seems to work, and then the creature finally swims off. And as the crew tries to lift the logs once again with the winch, the creature strikes again, and this time he pulls Kay from the deck and dives into the water with her.
But while he was getting onto the boat, I don't know if you noticed this, but he put his little cutie patootie paws up onto the deck, just like Gizmo did coming out of the box. It just,
oh my God.
Just like,
yes. He's all, hi. He's all, don't spray me with drugs.
And he be looking all drugged up, but he's like, he went to the club and he wants his Taco Bell and he will get it. And Taco Bell is Kay.
Oh, shit. I was going to say you. This sounds like you.
Oh.
Yeah. It is. So he takes Kay underwater to that underwater cave lair, which I don't know if we mentioned it, by the way, if you haven't seen this film. The lair, once you get to the cave part, it comes up and like it's no longer underwater. It's like a cavern, kind of.
Yeah, it's like if you're in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride,
it's like that. Everything in the inside.
In the lagoon areas, there are opportunities to be on land or
in water,
just whatever you need, kind of thing.
Whatever. It's a one-stop shop. Like whatever you need.
Honestly,
maybe there's a Taco Bell.
And just take me because color me intrigued.
Color me intrigued. I love how Gilman takes her into the underwater lair, though, at this part, because there's this strange like tenderness kind of in the way that he handles her. It's like a classic Beauty and the Beast dynamic a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
It's very interesting. David suits up and dives into the cave, and he's determined to save Kay. And I want to say at this point in the film, too, you guys, this is where most of the action is really, really taking place. And this is like the last like 4 minutes of the film, by the way. Like it's like really action packed towards the end. And he finds her and she's laying on a rock before the creature comes out of the water. And then a tense like showdown between the two of them follows.
Yeah, this is like the most dramatic part of the actual movie. And what I will say is when David comes in, Gilman, our creature, our cutie patootie, kind of hisses. And I'm like, that's me when I want to be left alone or I want snacks.
You literally hiss like quite a bit. And you hiss at your cats a lot too.
I do hiss a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
In this scene, though, it's cool because Captain Lucas and Dr. Maya, they come into the cave from like the backside that's on land. And they're able to come in and kind of sneak up behind everybody. And they have guns, like real like shotguns, and they shoot the creature several times. And he doesn't go immediately down. Like he's like some kind of super creature, but it does take him out a little bit and he wanders off into the jungle and then back into the lagoon.
He's like so disoriented.
Yeah.
And he's just what am I supposed to do with my fucking self?
He be drugged and wounded.
Yeah.
And that's essentially the film. Like this ambiguous ending leaves room for Gilman's survival, and it sets the stage for more of the sequels because we don't really see what else like happens after that point.
But that's the movie, you guys.
Fiend or fin. Get it?
Yeah, for sure.
Like a fin on a fish.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. It's not that funny, I guess. He doesn't have fins. You're right. Gil.
Gil.
That's it.
Gilman.
Gilman. So, Els, what were your final thoughts for this film?
So I had never seen this. Well, I think I saw it when I was like 5 or something. And when we decided to cover this movie, I said to myself, am I going to like this or not? I fucking loved it.
I'm so surprised that you loved it
I
so
know.
much.
I fucking loved it. And usually black and white throws me off for some reason. But no, it was a great, great film. It was 10 out of 10 fun and justice for my fucking cutie patootie. And I love that they had a runtime of 1 hour and 19 minutes because that's almost like even more like that's my capacity.
That is her capacity. I shit you not, you guys. When I saw the runtime, I knew Allie would be so happy. It's hard for her to pay attention for something longer than like an hour and a half. So I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you did it. And you loved it. I'm
Yeah.
so surprised, honestly, that you loved it so much. That's great.
I loved it because of my little man.
Your little man. Your little man.
My guy. What are your final thoughts?
God, I love watching something that you can see so much inspiration in other films. It's one of my favorite things about horror. And I know we've mentioned this before in previous episodes that like we see so many homages to different horror films within any horror film that we're watching. And I think that's like one of the greatest things about this genre is that people are not scared to make those connections and to give those like odes and to make those ties and parallels and Easter eggs and all the fun stuff. So even when we just talk about like Pirates of the Caribbean or we talk about Jaws or we talked about, I think there was like 1 or 2 other ones like Tarzan, just all these different things. It's like Jungle Cruise, even some of these things aren't even movies, but like just inspiring things within like our pulp culture and things that we are used to nowadays if we look at 2025. And I also think it's a really cool thing to look at a film that was made in 1954 and see like how far we came, but then think about how even back then this was filmed in 3D. That's just crazy to me.
That is insane.
It makes me want to like look into like the cinematography a little bit more and just like when was 3D invented? Like what was the first? I don't even know what the first like 3D film was,
I don't know.
Yeah, like it'd be something just to kind of like, it would be cool to like dive into a little bit more. So, but my final thoughts, I guess, like overall were just like, I loved this film. I also love that it was just like, it didn't have all this fluff that was like not needed to be there.
There was some fluff.
Maybe a little. I did think it was
water.
A tiny bit slow. Like I wanted more to happen with the creature in K, to be completely honest. Like I felt like I was so bummed that there was 4 minutes. I kept looking at the producer while we were watching this and I'm like, is there really only 4 minutes left and he hasn't even like taken her yet? I don't know. I was just like expecting that so much sooner from what I remembered, at least from watching it as a kid. But overall, love this film. It's a classic for a reason. And I'm so happy that so many people still love it to this day.
But what was your favorite scene?
I think truly that my favorite scene is when they shine the light on him. Finally, when he comes out of like the shallow water and we see his full body out of the water for the first time. I could imagine that being so scary in the theater for people in 1954.
And I asked my parents, because I watched it with them, was this movie scary? And I think they were either just being born or not old enough to watch this. They're like, no, it's not scary.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's scary now for sure, like at all. Did you think it was scary?
No, I think it's more of like a romance story.
It is.
It's almost like The Notebook when, multiple men are vying over a woman.
Absolutely.
And she has 3.
Yeah. It's a love shack.
It's a love shack.
Yeah.
She got David, she got Mark, she got Cutie Patootie.
She's ready to go spend time in this lair.
Yeah.
What was your favorite scene?
Anything with, when he's like in the kelp and he's just looking up, just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And just like,
has like such a blank stare. He's like
blank stare, eyes wide open. He's just like, what's going on? I just loved all of that.
Side note, I love that because it's so fish-like. Like fish look at you so much with like a blank stare. So I kind of love that they kept so true to that.
No, I loved him. I loved all of him. I also loved anything with Captain Lucas.
Absolutely.
Because
you guys are one.
We are one. I am Captain Lucas.
You are the captain now.
I am. No, Gilman is the captain now.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's Creature from the Black Lagoon. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks. And if you want some bonus content, then you can join our Spooky Chicks social club on Patreon. And we also want to thank everyone for the 200 plus reviews that we've gotten over all of our different podcast platforms. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Truly, that helps us so much to move higher on podcast directories and get more listens. And we just love you all for just supporting us. And as we head into like year 2 in July, which is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Or sorry, year 3, I guess. Like we're going to celebrate our 2nd year in July. We just love doing this and we are going to keep doing it for as long as we are absolutely able. And we just love you all so much. I'm sorry. I'm having a love fest right now in my mind, but I just can't stop saying it.
I love Fest.
I just love ya. And also, too, the best way to support us, honestly, if you're looking to support the podcast, is to tell a friend. Tell another spooky cutie that, they need to listen to us. And we would love to hear how they like the podcast. Allie, do you want to close us out?
Sure fucking do. Don't roofie a lagoon creature. Maybe the girl wants a monster as her boo. And stay spooky fuckers.